Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
Just
this
stop.
is a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Schlemiel, Schlemazel, Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. We're gonna do it on your way.
Welcome to DBL. That, of course, was the iconic opening of the show Laverne and Shirley. As you guys may have heard, Cindy Williams, who played Shirley, passed away yesterday at the age of 75. In a statement, her two children said she possessed a brilliant sense of humor and a glittering spirit that everyone loved. Laverne and Shirley was the #1 show on TV in the 70s and 80s, with 30 million households tuning in every week. She and co-star Penny Marshall were also known for their physical comedy. The show was actually a spin-off of Happy Days. Laverne and Shirley were cast as dates for Richie and Fonzie. Wow, that turned out well for them, huh? But Ron Howard actually worked with Cindy in the movie American Graffiti back in 1973. In a statement, he said he was taken by her intelligence, energy, and sense of humor, and said it's a shock to imagine that spark is gone. I looked up her IMDb, and, you know, she's worked throughout the years, but that face, like, is so, right when you saw that, it brought you back 30, 40 years.
Her face and their friendship is forever tied to that period of time. I think because we are in 2023, you can do whatever you want. You're probably doing something totally different than Jeff is after we leave here, or even during work. People have such different jobs. But back then, a lot of people worked in a factory. And there was something to bond over with that. So think about how that resonated.
Especially as a woman, too. Like, very rare to see a woman, blue collar, kind of showing that off. And also, to be honest, on the inside belt, to see a woman doing physical comedy. I mean, you got the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She's a businesswoman. They're career business women in that way, or factory workers. And it was a big departure for, you know, the girl in Bewitched who's making dinner for Darren when he comes home at night. So it was really a wonderfully freeing thing as a female comic to see these ladies be really goofy with their bodies.
Right.
And crossed a generation, or not generational gap, men and women.
Gender
gap.
Right. Absolutely.
As well as generation.
Yeah,
as well as
absolutely.
gender. But a gender gap for sure, right? How many women had their own show at that time that weren't the stereotypical, Edith, make me some dinner?
That's exactly.
You know what I mean?
Sandwich.
I just pulled that out.
Edith,
I don't even
give me a
know.
sandwich.
I don't know how I did that. But yeah, I mean.
Was that your Archie?
Yeah, it was my Archie. But we always say this, Al. When I said that face brings you right back, it's like, that's the goal, right, man?
That's it.
To have you remembered, kind of, in this case, forever.
Right.
With happiness.
And that's
Yes.
why we're saying, yes, obviously she's passed, but, like, you have forever, emblazoned yourself in American history television. Like, this is you forever. And I always look at these side characters that come in thinking about Steve Urkel, and these huge spin-offs that come from these. That was just a double date that could have gone away. And now we have this incredible series based off just when they walked through that doors, they didn't know what they were doing when they were changing American history.
Yeah, may she rest in peace.
Shout out.
Will forever be remembered. All right, guys, the new HBO series. Have you watched this, The Last of Us?
Yes, I saw it last
all
night.
right. So it's generating a ton of buzz, but the most recent episode in particular has a lot of people talking. So Nick Offerman, who is a straight man in real life, plays a gay man trying to survive a zombie outbreak.
It sounds weird.
I know it does. He then meets and falls in love with another man played by Murray Bartlett, who is gay in real life. If you guys are fans of White Lotus out there, you know him from the first season. But some people are saying that Nick's performance was so great, he gets a pass to play gay characters from now on. Over the years, there have been some debate about whether straight actors should be cast in gay roles. Most recently, singer Adam Lambert spoke out about it, the possibility of casting a straight actor to play George Michael in an upcoming biopic. So we've had this debate on the show all the time, and I think an actor, it's their job to play outside their comfort zone, their gender, whatever it is.
To act?
To act.
Okay.
That's what it means to act, right? Why does Nick Offerman get a pass? I didn't know you were offered passes in this business.
They're making it up as they go along.
Okay, because that's what it sounds like.
I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. I've always said I'd prefer if someone was handicapped in a show that they be handicapped as an actor. And I've sort of changed my mind a little bit from this show, from listening to you guys and understanding that acting is really the craft of becoming someone else. I just hope in my mind that they're auditioning those type of people for those roles too. I guess what I'm looking for is if there's a wheelchair-bound person in your cast, that you open the door and use your resources to find perhaps some people to audition that are actually wheelchair-bound. They get that chance. Otherwise, those doors are closed kind of forever. So I've changed my mind that it needs to be someone who's gay, but I do think that the auditioning process or thinking outside the box needs to be opened a little bit more.
Even to main leading roles that a studio's behind for millions of dollars, just offered to a no-name person because they have this particular thing that the lead character.
If the acting is good enough in terms of the audition, remember Daniel Day-Lewis came out of nowhere. Tom Hanks came out of nowhere. So they're out there. It's just that I don't think they're getting the door.
Tom Hanks wasn't Forrest Gump on his first acting role.
Right.
He worked his way up.
Right. I'm just saying if you happen to allow that or be at the forefront or like instead of
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I'm just giving a counterpoint to that.
Right.
I think actors should act. Hilary Swank played a man. You won an Academy Award, right? Tom Hanks won an Academy Award for playing a gay man. So it's like you're acting outside who you are. Who you are should have nothing to do with the character you're playing. Right. In my mind.
You know, and you guys are having a great discussion, but this discussion can take place on 3 or 4 different levels. There's just the financial discussion.
If this doesn't end with me being right, I'm out of here.
You know, there's a financial part of it of like, hey, we've got $100 million behind this project. Do we want to cast somebody that we're really confident in, but we don't know if they can
and
sell
could be
tickets?
A new star.
Right, and can be a new star, or this person's got, there could be something where you're like, how did this person get in this? And you look and you find out that they were a YouTube star and they have 100,000 subscribers, and you're like, maybe there was a candidate that was better than them, but they bring that cash in.
Right.
By the way, I've seen that happen, and that doesn't translate.
Right.
Just
it
FYI.
It does not.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Does not.
I've seen
so
that happen too.
There's this weird dynamic where we're talking about things that should be discussed. I do believe that people that are marginalized communities, from which I am one, should always be given a chance, should always be given a real chance, as opposed to what we're seeing in the NFL.
Absolutely, yes.
But at the same time, if somebody can act their rear end off, put them in there, because we're talking about a project that involves thousands of people in a big blockbuster. So you have to do right by the project, do right by the actor, and you know what? If you want to skip over the quality actors that identify, however they identify, or maybe wheelchair bound, if you want to skip over them, somebody will scoop them up, they will make a better product, and they will move around your project. It will happen.
It will. I'm just saying, like, not that long ago, Natalie Wood was playing in brown makeup, like a Puerto Rican in West Side Story. Like, at that point, they should have had access to at least, I mean, I know back then the climate was different.
Right,
I would appreciate, you know what I mean? I'm just opening those doors. But you guys changed my mind, so congrats.
Thank you. We won, Jeff. Let's just walk off. No more.
All right, guys, we're going to go to commercial break early here. No, one more story. Michael Jackson's nephew is getting ready to play his uncle in a new biopic. Jafar Jackson, who is the son of Jermaine Jackson, will be playing the King of Pop in a new movie about his life. The film is called Michael. How long did that take? And it is also being made with the cooperation, or should I say approval, of the Jackson family. So in a tweet, Jafar said he was humbled and honored to bring his Uncle Michael's story to life. But the question is, will the biopic look at the more controversial parts of Michael's life, such as the sexual abuse allegations in the 2005 court case? I could have got all that out of my own.
We talked about this earlier this week, Jeff.
And Antoine Fuqua is directing. A huge director is coming in. It's not just a random movie.
Right. Yeah, it's not.
But here's the thing. His family's backing it.
Right.
So are you going to talk about the parts of Michael's life that maybe in a family discussion you don't talk about or bring up?
I would say definitely not. But then,
so you don't think they're going to talk about the alleged incident with little boys?
No.
I think they're going to.
Then what kind of biopic is that?
But that's the issue, because you said it earlier this week, and I've been thinking about it ever since, because I like to think about things after the show. Okay, if they're doing a story about my life, if my family controls the narrative, you go, well, I don't know how accurate that is, because Al's family loves him. They're going to do a good job. But if an outside author comes and does a story, you'll be like, so what? A random person can come and just make up a story and maybe not have all the facts? So where are we with these biopics that we decide this is an okay version of what we know? Would it lose credibility if it does not address the sexual allegation?
Lose credibility?
Yes.
It's not even a movie. So, that's what I'm like. at no point are they going to address, in my mind, that the Jackson family would even bring this up in the biopic. So in that case, to me, if that happens, it's not a real biopic. It's not at all real. It's sanitized. It's not real life. And it's also not showing the scrupulous media attention that came from all of it. There's a lot of different parts that rippled from that, right? And if you skip that, what are we doing here?
So who is authorized to talk about your life is the question I have.
That's a good point.
Certainly don't skip over major public pop culture moments in there.
Well, let's start from the beginning. I mean, did Joe have anything to do with Michael or any of those brothers? I mean,
great point.
They're not going to address that.
Was there abuse there in any way?
I would imagine in depth of how deep it went, right? There's parts that people are just like, they don't want to talk about, or maybe not even in their mind just say, I don't want to talk about it. But you bring up a great point. Who then has the rights to tell your story? A stranger that doesn't know you? I don't agree with that.
And also, we have an audience, Jeff. These are people. We all have our inherent biases. If you're a diehard Michael Jackson fan, which there are millions of, do you want to hear about these sexual allegations, or do you want to relive the good times?
There's an audience for that.
Do you want to see the building of Neverland and when he performed for the Pope, or are we watching it as journalists like, hey, let's get into the mix because that's what real life is: the highs and the lows, all the good things you did and all the horrible things you did. So who is this being made for?
Yeah, what's the lens? What lens are we looking
the question needs to be asked first.
I don't know. We got to be careful because we're going to do a biopic about Harvey Weinstein and all the great Academy Awards that he's produced and forget about all the other stuff.
Right. I think
you're right. I don't know what the answer is.
Right. I think the best pictures and the things that we really gravitate towards do the best job of presenting a human being for all their unbelievable feats and all the horribleness all mixed together, because that's what being a human is. It's like the top and the bottom all at the same time and being unable to separate the two.
Yeah. Good. That was a deeper convo than I thought it was going to be.
Well, Michael Jackson.
All right, coming up on DBL, we're talking about BuzzFeed deciding to use artificial intelligence to write articles. Plus, Priscilla Presley is questioning the validity of Lisa Marie's will. We'll explain next. It's a new year and DBL is all the talk.
Let's get it going.
We had a lot to talk about last year.
I'm flexing every day.
And we're not stopping in 2023. I'll see you guys on the flip side.
Every time BJ counts us in from 5'4", I feel like I'm disappointing him by not having a dance routine. I want to be on Broadway.
5, 6, 7, 8.
One time I went and
Shlomazel.
for me to have
Did you ever know that was what they were saying? I also still don't know what that means. Is it Yiddish?
It is Yiddish.
Is it?
A shlemiel and a shlomazel. Who was it? Somebody just posted what shlemiel and
Is it an amount?
shlomazel means.
It is.
And now I forget
Emily,
it.
can you look
Great
that
job,
up?
Chris.
A shlemiel is they're connected words.
Like a schmuck kind of guy?
Can you say that? Oh, on the digital.
It's Yiddish.
I just read this and now I forget exactly what they meant.
So Shlomiel and Shlomazel means something.
Now,
Yes.
Yiddish,
Yes.
what is that like? What would that be equivalent to?
That's Hebrew and German put together.
Can someone look up
it
what
like
shlemiel
Spanglish?
is?
Yeah.
What is it?
So it's a dialect.
Oh.
It's just a slang dialect.
I didn't know.
A shlemiel is an unlucky bungler. What's a bungler? Shlomazel. A consistently unlucky person. A bungler and an unlucky person.
Am I a Shlomazel? Am I a Shlomiel and a Shlomazel?
What's a shamil?
A bungler.
A bungler.
What's a bungler?
They
Someone
mess
who
up
bungles messes up a lot.
Yeah, but they don't destroy it. They just kind of mess things.
Oh my God! It's me! I'm the problem. It's me.
You should get 2 awards for that.
But why were they saying that, I wonder?
Because that's what they are. They're two kind of
Maybe they're just quirky.
Okay,
Yeah.
a bungler. I never thought of myself as that, but that's fun. What if you did a whole show on a bungler burglar who always messed up but got his job done?
I feel like it
Of
sounds
what? Robbing a
dirty.
family of their goods?
Yeah, that's bad. Okay.
A feel-good story. You're going to get behind this character that stole this kid's
Maybe it
jacket.
stole Nazi art that brought it back. You know what I mean? Really?
Welcome back. Austin Butler recently sat down with Jimmy Fallon on The Tonight Show and talked about the special bond he had with the late Lisa Marie Presley. Take a look.
She was a person who didn't really
have anything to prove and wouldn't open up to everybody. And she just opened up to me, and we got so close so fast. So, yeah, it's just devastating.
You're going to wear one ring or two?
Dude,
I'm going to go with two.
I can't with the accent.
Sorry, it was a touchy subject there. Meantime, Priscilla Presley is contesting Lisa Marie's will. Her lawyers filed a petition disputing an amendment made to the will in 2016 when Lisa Marie removed Priscilla from her former business manager as co-trustee and replaced them with her two older children. That makes Lisa Marie's daughter Riley as the sole trustee since her son Benjamin passed away. Priscilla claims the amendment is invalid because her name is misspelled and Lisa Marie's signature may have been forged. I have no idea what I just said, so Tori, could you translate
Yeah,
that
the
for
will
us?
could be fake. She's claiming the will is fake, that someone forged the signature.
Wait, we could
and
just
took her
wrote
out.
the will could be fake and started to discuss?
Correct.
Oh.
But yeah, the will, she's saying her name was misspelled in the will and her signature looks off. And she also wasn't present. And for an Elvis Presley will, you would think that lawyers would be there, Priscilla would be there, the executor would be there. This should be a little bit more formal. And remember when Aretha Franklin passed away, may she rest, there was no will, and it's caused all kinds of problems for the family. So this is going to go to court, and we're going to hear about this for the next decade.
Did she sign the will that was misspelled?
No, she was taken out of that will, and she thinks Lisa Marie is someone forged that signature of Lisa Marie.
And let's say, for example, that didn't happen. I think on a grander scale, we talk about, you know, the problems that a lot of people in this country have with opioids, or people could be undergoing dementia. I just wonder with a will, if there's not a last second change, but a change within the last 3 years, a change within the last 5 or 10 years, especially when people are vulnerable to whoever may be caring for them at that time, if they are under the use of some kind, under the influence of some kind
You
of
can
narcotic.
contest it if they are.
I just wonder, I mean, obviously the misspelling may render it an invalid legal document as it is, but I think this is a problem that a lot more people than, you know, this family will deal with. I think a lot of people will be like, hey, we loved mom. She was a good person, but she struggled with her addictions. And then all of a sudden, there's a weird amendment where, like, some guy she was living with in Vegas her last 2 years gets all your stuff. Like, I wonder, like, how that plays out legally, because I think it's way more common than we'd like to.
Yeah,
you know, at the end of your life, you are vulnerable.
Absolutely, and lawyers go into trust and estates as an entire genre because they are scammed. The elderly, the people who are not in the right state of mind can be coerced, and it's a little odd that her name would have been misspelled, and also that she wouldn't have been there. Again, seems very odd to me. Priscilla herself.
It's a little confusing to me, to be perfectly honest with you. But if the point of making a will is what you want when you're going to die, and then someone contests that, what's the point of making a will?
Because if it was a fake will or someone coerced her to do it, it's not a legal
But
document.
you could just say that. Like, if I'm not happy with what I've gotten out of a will, I'd just be like, that's fake.
But usually
and
you
let's
have like,
contest that.
I
don't know.
Usually you have like a notary, you have like lawyers, you have like very strong evidence that that will is either real or not real. Because this is such a big estate with Graceland on the line, they're going to take a double, triple, quadruple check on this will.
Makes sense.
Quadruple.
A lot of money. A lot of money on the table.
Wow. All right, coming up on DBL, BuzzFeed says it's going to use AI to start generating content. What do you think of this?
So first, a reminder of what exactly we're talking about here. The HIPAA privacy rule is from the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. It's a federal law to protect people's sensitive health information from being shared without their knowledge, according to the Department of Health and Human Services and the CDC. The HHS specifies HIPAA is meant to prevent individually identifiable health information from being shared without that person's permission. But one thing people often forget, HIPAA only applies specifically to the following entities and their employees and associates: healthcare providers, health plans like insurance companies, and clearinghouses like billing companies. So no, HIPAA generally doesn't apply to school districts or most other organizations. However, schools do have access to private information, like vaccination records, which are typically considered education records and protected under a different law, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, or FERPA. Under FERPA, a school can't say Abby Larico was treated for a suspected overdose today. But schools will even still be hesitant to say vaguely a student was treated for a suspected overdose today, because there's another non-official factor at play: the rumor mill. Students talk, they can figure things out and deduce private information that a student might not want public. And ultimately, schools do have a responsibility to protect student privacy and well-being. So how do they share information about medical emergencies? I talked with several people in Montgomery County's communications office to try to get a grasp on their policy, and they say they tend to be more vague and report on trends and aggregate information rather than specific incidents, because it's easier to maintain student privacy that way. And that's what we're seeing with the district's reporting on the fentanyl crisis, which they stress is happening at other schools too. They're just a district that's talking about it. With your Verify, I'm Abby Larico.
Welcome back. There's a major shakeup at BuzzFeed. The popular media and entertainment company has announced it's laying off nearly 180 employees and replacing them with artificial intelligence technology. AI technology uses algorithms and machine learning to analyze large amounts of data and perform tasks that were previously done by humans. It could be used to generate articles, quizzes, and even videos. Some reporters at BuzzFeed said they are concerned readers will stop engaging if they realize the articles aren't written by real people, kind of like I am with this script right now. And just to let you know, part of this story was written using AI.
Whoa.
Maybe that's why I wasn't relating to it.
That's so interesting.
Whoa!
But
it wasn't talking like a human. There's too many big words in there for Big Jeff.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, you're gonna have to go with me on this one. But here's my other counter theory to this. What if then you make AI-generated readership that then
There's an audience
generates
now.
responses to AI-generated articles?
You create an artificial audience.
We're in the Terminator now, man.
Exactly.
That's no good.
I mean, honestly, if you can have something write something, you can have something read it and respond accordingly.
Can it spend money?
So then are now human beings completely excised from the process?
No, because we spend money. Can the AI audience, the artificial audience you're speaking about, spend any money?
But how would you know?
There is that audience, not necessarily reading the articles, but there are bots going onto social media providing their opinion that aren't real people.
Right.
So we have that right now.
Right, and we've had this for a while. I mean, on a much lower scale, predictive text was AI in a way. There was always ways that you could, they would have like a marketing generator things where you could just put in, I'm selling mittens on Etsy, and it'll write a nicely written. So this has kind of existed in one form or the other. I think what human beings are going to have to do is kind of adapt like we always have to our technology and find out where we fit in with our technology rather than how our technology fits in with us.
Dude,
because at this point,
this is different though, I think. Like, is it Chat GPT? Is that what they call it? It is writing songs. It is writing, like, if you want a Bill Maher monologue, it'll write it out, and Bill Maher doesn't need to be there. It will take
That's fine with me.
It will take our jobs when it starts to evaluate and have opinions. This is the beginning of the AI work transformation.
And I'm not trying to be dismissive when you were talking. I'm sorry, that was rude.
No, you're totally fine.
But we talk as friends.
Yeah.
I just think that you need human beings to be a part of it.
You sound like very old.
Honestly, so this thing could have written Tupac's lyrics. You need to be from there.
It wrote Shakespeare's sonnet in the style and wasn't bad.
But when
it gets better and better, it's going to be, you can't tell the difference.
Duplicate someone's style,
Correct.
Original style, who knows?
Correct.
Can it? And also, does it have rebuttals to questions that you're asking? No. It doesn't have any feeling. It's just taking an algorithm and spitting it back out. And if you question that article, there's no one there to rebut why they wrote that.
Could it have written Outkast, So Fresh and So Clean? I don't think so.
I think at some point, you know what's cooler than being ice cold?
No, what's cooler than being cool?
Oh, God.
You almost got it, though.
That was close.
Good. That's why we need AI to step in for it.
Cooler than a polar bear's toenails.
Yeah.
That's a different song.
I'm not cool?
You're half cool.
Okay.
You're warm. We'll be right back.
During the interview process for a new job, you can feel like you're under a microscope. Employers asking for all sorts of personal information. But what information is off limits? One of our viewers who is going through the hiring process says a potential employer asked for her credit info. She asked us if that's legal. So let's verify. Can employers in most states request access to your credit report? Our sources are the Fair Credit Reporting Act, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the National Conference of State Legislatures, IntelliCorp, and Experian. There is no federal law prohibiting employers from running a credit check on potential employees, and it is a legal option during the hiring process in most states. But at least 11 states and 4 major cities have laws limiting or banning employer credit checks, according to the National Conference of State Legislatures and IntelliCorp, a company that provides employee background checks for businesses. But even in those places, exceptions are made for some government and finance jobs. Under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, employers are required to get written permission before they can check your credit. You can say no, but the employer can choose not to hire or promote you as a result. According to Experian, one of the 3 major credit reporting bureaus, if an employer runs your credit, they won't be able to see your credit score, specific account numbers, or information about your spouse. If you don't get the job because of your credit report, the employer has to tell you that that's why you're being rejected and give you an opportunity to correct any errors in the report. With your Verify, I'm Ariante Till.
At least 5 mass shootings in California so far and several others around the country. As police work around the clock to investigate these shootings,
we started looking at what we needed to do for ourselves to collect data.
Mark Bryant, the executive director for Gun Violence Archive, is also busy collecting information about these shootings. He's one of our sources today, along with police reports from several different states where the most recent mass shootings happened. In 2013, Bryant started this website that collects data of gun violence all across the country.
We have 24 researchers, mostly masters of information science.
From the data they have collected, they say a total of 49 mass shootings have occurred in the U.S. so far this year.
Mass shooting is 4 or more people that have been shot or killed, not including the shooter.
He says the number of mass shootings are 50% higher than they were last year at this time.
Mass shootings account for about 6% of our work.
According to the Gun Violence Archive data, the total number of deaths from gun violence so far this year is 3,479. As far as mass shootings, Bryant says 2022 numbers were down from 2021.
2021 was higher than 2022 by about 50.
Overall deaths from gun violence from year to year, however, continue to increase steadily. With your Verify Fact Check, I'm Megan Bragg.
We have some quick tips that can help your posture. Tori, it's time for some joint and muscle support brought to you by Omega XL. First, stretching and exercising is your friend. It's the best way to improve posture. Next, make sure you have the best chair for your back. It's important that your feet are able to touch the floor as you sit. And finally, avoid sleeping on your stomach. Really, because this can cause a misalignment with your spine. Omega XL has improved the lives of millions of consumers, supported by 30 years of clinical research. Omega XL's powerful and proven benefits have transformed the lives of athletes, celebrities, and dedicated daily users. Call 800-813-6801 or visit OmegaXL.com for more information. Sometimes I like to lay on my stomach.
That's how I do.
I love laying on my
I can't lay on my back like I'm in a Serta commercial.
No, like I'm a mummy? What am I doing?
I don't know how to sleep now.
No.
Bye.